Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Pod Z CCG. This is Brandon, aka Crisis.
This is Brad, aka Torment, I guess. So today we've got an action-packed episode for you guys. We've got the kids joining us today. We're going to go over some listener emails, a tournament report. We'll give you our thoughts on organized play. Brandon's got a couple stories for you guys in regards to himself and a fellow player named Josh Moulder. Yes, some of you may remember Josh Moulder.
So we've also got our deck doctor. We had a few questions regarding deck ideas, and we decided to pick one out. And, you know, we put our pride aside for our Panini Player of the Week. We're going to be discussing Orange Stare Down.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to it.
So that and lots more when Pod Z CCG comes back.
And we're back. So our first question received from our email podzccg@gmail.com comes from Mike Strangelove22. He's from Washington, and he says, "What is your favorite special move from the anime/card game?" Question mark.
First of all, I loathe any special move done in English from the anime. English special moves sound so forced, non-climactic, and dull. The Japanese version sounds so much better. It's not Masenko Ha, it's just Masenko. One time, Brandon and I saw Sonny Strait at a Sacramento Comic-Con. For those of you who don't know, Sonny Strait is a voice actor for Krillin on the English version of Dragon Ball Z. He was doing a panel on the open floor answering questions, just like to a crowd of random people. There was only like 15 people standing around. It was hecka funny. Someone in the crowd shouted out, "Hey Sonny, give us a Destructo Disc." Sonny put his hand in the air. Not his whole hand like Krillin, just like 3 fingers pointed up in the air.
Yeah, like his thumb, forefinger, and middle finger.
Yeah. He did this, you know, to get into character, I guess. He belted out, "Destructo Disc," and twirled his fingers like he was throwing an empty pizza box. As 5 people in the audience started to clap, Brandon and I yelled out, "It's Kainzan Disc."
Yeah, they were like hecka random clapping.
It was so funny. And then Sonny just like put his head down like, "Oh." With that being said, I like Piccolo's Makenko Sapo. It sounds so cool when he says it.
Yeah, that's my favorite special move from the anime. And I like how Piccolo sold the fact to Goku that it takes 5 minutes to power it up during the Raditz fight. He's like, "Okay, let me go fight Raditz," even though he took out both of us in like 2 seconds. And Raditz just stood there too, just watching Piccolo power up while Goku distracted him. I know Goku could be pretty naive or dumb at sometimes, but Raditz takes the cake. Nappa too, like when Krillin was going to use his Kainzen disc on him, and Nappa was like, "I'm just going to take this head on. And
I'm just going to catch it with my teeth." "Hey Vegeta, watch me catch this with my teeth."
And Vegeta was like, "You idiot, get out of the way," at the last second, and it split his cheek open.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be cool to see Krillin actually beat somebody other than the Cyberman on DBZ.
Yeah. Like the Kung Lao finishing move when he throws his hat and cuts the dude's head off.
Yeah.
That would have been hecka tight.
But in the card game, I'd say my favorite special move is Piccolo's weighted clothing. That counts, right?
Yeah, I guess. Our second email comes from Daryl Culver. He says, "I have a monster bill at my shop too. He loves to play Orange Goku but refuses to run Orange Torching Drill. How can I get him to run that card?"
Yeah, well, we kind of need some more info. Like, does he run Orange Goku Drill? I'm guessing he does, if you're saying, you know, you should include Torching Drill. But I don't know if this is like a monster bill per se, because as we all know, monster bills love deck advice, and any little bit helps with them. I'm kind of guessing, like, what if this was a hybrid of not only a Monster Bill, but of a Kool-Aid Man? Like, he's pretty arrogant, aggressive, a know-it-all who beats you every time with their deck theories, and don't want any advice from, or doesn't want any, and doesn't want advice from anyone. Are you just making that louder?
Yeah. I'm just trying to annoy you.
What I would say is ask him why he doesn't run Torching Drill. Maybe maybe he's too proud to admit that and, overlook the card during his deck build. You could give him an out, like, hey, do you only have 2 Torching Drills and won't run them until you have 3? Or, and then maybe he'll say, like, yeah, that's it. Then you can just hand him one. I mean, it's a common. Come on. So now we've got our question of the week.
Dragon Ball Z question of the week.
You have just been given all of Majin Buu's power. Name 3 people you would turn into food and what you would turn them into.
Oh, that's such a tight question. I think we need to let the kids weigh on in this one as well.
Alright. Do you want to get them out of the way first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the kids sitting in here with us, and we've asked them this question. You have just been given all of Majin Buu's powers. Name 3 people you would turn into food, and what would you turn them into? We're going to start with Logan.
Okay, I would say, Monster Bill. I would try and turn him into Smarties, so he's smarter.
So, is this all Monster Bills, or just the Monster Bill at our shop?
The Monster Bill at our shop.
Oh, okay.
The next one, I would say, Laquan.
Laquan? Who's this Laquan character?
He's this 5th grader, and I don't know what he does. He's just like, always he comes to school like at night and just like does some stuff. And you know the fence back there?
Yeah.
He always jumps over it. And
in one leap, he's living up to his name.
No, he actually like climbs up it, and his little sister, and she's in kindergarten, just waiting for him.
So Laquan comes to school at night?
Yes.
How do you know this? Does he tell you?
Yes.
Wow. So what would you turn Laquan into?
I would say, what is it called? Milky Way, that's what it is. So he floats in space and his head falls off. Floats up.
I thought you were gonna say something like a gangster a gangster brand of like 7-Up.
What's it called? Lemon Up, Twist Up, or something?
Twist Up.
Alright, when you're third person.
I would say a lion, because...
A lion? His name's... Is it a lion? Like a
real lion.
Okay, a normal lion. What would you change him into?
Sushi, so Sam can eat him.
Okay.
Oh, I'd be eating a lion and sushi. Perfect.
See, that's his dream.
Yep. His dream is to eat every animal and to eat sushi.
At the same time.
Yep.
Alright, Jordan, who's your 3?
Okay, so my first one, I would turn Akira Toriyama into preserved canned foods for a later time.
You're so dumb.
Preserved canned foods. Why are you?
So he wouldn't rot.
Oh, so he's old? Is it because he's old?
Yeah. So
then he wouldn't be able to. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And your second person?
I would turn a dog into dog food, just so it could be eaten by another dog.
Cannibalism.
Okay.
And then I would turn the One Direction group into, like, I don't know, a bag of Skittles, and then just, like, sell them online for a lot of money.
Wait. Could it be anything?
Okay.
Turn One Direction into One Road.
No, food.
Okay, so is it my turn?
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Okay, my first one is Jordan. I would turn my brother Jordan into raw fish.
So you would make him eat himself?
If he wants to eat himself. Okay.
Capitalism.
So second?
It would probably have to be, there's this, like, one kid at my school, his name's Shane. I'd make him into a man crane.
A man crane, aka emu? Ostrich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's really fast and stuff, and he's really, runs a very awkward way. And it's, yeah, and I'll turn myself into sushi. So I could eat myself repetitively and never die.
Okay, are you familiar with Majin Buu's power? Because once he turns you into a food item,
He can't.
you're dead. You can't eat yourself.
Yeah.
Oh no, I died
Technically,
in
you
sushi.
can't eat.
Then just turn your arm into sushi or something.
Yeah, like cut
Infinite
off the
sushi arm.
I would change Julie, my other boss from my other work, my old job, into a big plate of barbecue albacore tuna. Hecka good. Because I hate her.
Hey, who?
Julie, my old boss.
Oh,
I remember she
yeah.
yelled
I didn't
at.
think about mine.
I remember
'cause
she yelled at you.
She didn't yell at me.
Didn't you take
Oh,
it
that's probably
for a
true.
while? I thought you were dating her.
Yeah.
My old boss? You thought I was cheating on Mom with Julie.
Yes.
That's gross.
That's funny.
Because I remember she took you home one day, and you were always so nice to her.
Yeah, because she's her boss.
That was her boss. Or
That was his boss.
I told you to quit fraternizing with women at work because it leaves bad impressions when other people see it.
That was Tisha. That wasn't Julie.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
he
so
was
you
dating
cheated on
Tisha.
The next person would be Roxanne, one of my wife's friends. I would change her into a plate of Korean barbecue.
Because she's Korean.
No, because I don't like her.
Korean. I thought you were gonna say taco or something.
Yeah.
And then
Mexican.
the last person would be Brandon's ex-roommate, Marissa. I would change her into a combination pizza from Papa John's.
Is that like bad?
Ear.
No,
Because you hate her?
because I hate her.
You hate Marissa.
So you're gonna like eat her?
Yeah, there's no Papa John's around here forever. You have to go like down in Thomas to get one. They closed them all, so I could just be like, boom, nod my head, change her into a pizza, and just eat her.
So it makes you mad.
And then she'd be gone for the rest of my life. Brandon's turn.
Okay, it's funny there's a lot of sushi talk because I did this one too. I would turn the Ultimate Warrior into his weight in sushi rolls. He was full of protein and mass, so that's perfect. I would turn Tingle from Legend of Zelda into wasabi since he's green. And then I would change Jordan into soy sauce because he's always salty.
Oh, salty!
And that's the perfect meal. Sushi, wasabi, soy sauce.
That's right.
Alright, that's it. You guys can go back.
Okay.
And we'll be back with OP Talk.
OP Talk and a few other stories. Stay with us at Podsy CCG.
And we're back. So, organized play has been announced. The bummer is they haven't announced any rules to go along with it. Just like, hey, we're doing it. We're taking 12 shops from around the states. Submit your shops with some pictures. Make sure it's clean. It could seat 64 people. And it doesn't stink. And we'll consider you.
Yeah, it doesn't stink. I always thought the comic shop smelled of nostalgia, but my wife seems to think it stinks.
Yeah, so there's a few shops around here that have applied. There's Avrams, which is Adventures in Comics and Games. We call it Avrams because Avram is a shop owner, and we've been going there for years. I believe the one Equilibrium Games in Concord. And then Forgotten Path, which is in Vacaville,
Yep.
have all applied. So hopefully one of those gets picked. I'm pretty sure Forgotten Path will get picked because they are huge.
Yeah, it's a real nice store too.
Yeah, so I've actually got a regional story to tell. My first regional I've ever went to. It was during, I think World Game Saga was just released. So this regional in LA, why didn't you go? Do you remember?
I think because, one, you guys left on a Friday night and I had to work on Saturday at Western Dental.
Okay. And so who decided to go with me to regionals? We had it all planned out. Me and this kid, Josh Moulder. Josh Moulder was a pretty big player back in the day. He was always on the forums and stuff. I myself, at this point in time, was around 21, 22, still living at home and going to school. I'll give you some background on Josh. Since I lived with my mom, it was still house rules, which I am a big advocator of. Not in this story, but now I am. If you're living at home rent-free, you need to follow rules. If not, then get your stuff and get out. I knew that she didn't want me to drive long distances, like 5 to 6 hours to LA. We're currently in Sacramento. Not only was it too dangerous, I'm assuming, because I'd only been driving a few months. I had a 91 Honda Accord and it was manual stick shift. I don't think she thought I could handle the ride. So what I did was I came up with this plan. I told her I was going to San Francisco for the weekend on a music class field trip. Yep, I lied, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? Remember that. So, who is Josh? We initially met Josh at Abrams, Adventures in Comics and Games. We met him at our first Dragon Ball Z tournament. He came with a Saiyan beatdown deck. Little did we know that he always ran Dragon Ball decks, actually. Months later, he had said that he thought it was a tough enough tournament, and that's why he brought it instead of a ball deck, because he didn't do too well in this tournament. He lost, well, I think he might have gotten 4th or something.
Yeah.
Because you got first place with Red Gohan.
Yep.
The important thing to know is that Josh was a minor at this time. He was only 17. He was 17 at the time. I was around 21, 22. So remember that he was a minor. Josh also taught us the value of limited versus unlimited. I was trying to collect every card there was in DBZ for the score release. He had a lot of promos, a lot of foils, and only collected limited. So I think that's where we got our limited bug stem from. We wanted to, I guess, impress him or something. Like, yeah, we could collect limited too.
Yeah.
But he and I were inseparable at times, to the point that my mom thought I was being gay with him. Because I had no interest in girls, really. Well, I guess I did, but I was an introvert like I am today, and, really didn't want to approach him. We did so many horrible things together. Want to hear a few stories?
Yeah.
So, let's see. Well, I guess this kind of melds into one. He called me late at night saying, hey, come pick me up here. And I said, alright. At this point in time, I had a cell phone, so he could reach me anywhere at any time. He was in some random, he was near this school that I didn't know where it was, called Mesa Verde.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, Antelope area? What is it?
Citrus Heights, Roseville, somewhere around there.
Okay. So he gave me directions, and so I'm driving around. It's probably 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, and I'm like, where is this kid? He called from a payphone, of course, so I'm circling around some blocks, and I see him in a median with this red thing in his hand. I'm like, what the heck? So he's shaking when I drive up closer, I see it's a gas can onto these bushes in the median. I'm like, what is he doing? I pull up, and he doesn't see me approach or my headlights, so I honk, and he looks at me with this,
devilish grin.
Yeah, I'm trying to, look up Satan's Little Helper. It's a movie where a guy dresses up like Satan and kills people on Halloween. He looked like that. That's what he looked like. And so, as he saw me, he lit the bush on fire and jumped into the car. I was like, what the hell? And he had the gas can in his hand. So I'm driving like, dude, you gotta get rid of that. So we drive about 5 blocks down the road and end up at this Safeway. So I drive behind the Safeway, and there's this huge green dumpster. I'm like, throw the gas away. Because it was, pretty much almost full at this point in time.
And it was, 11 o'clock at night, midnight?
No, it was around 2 o'clock at this. Well, 1 o'clock, yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get by the trash can. He gets out, and instead of like a sane person would do, he doesn't throw the gas can away. He dumps the gas can out into the garbage can.
And you're sitting there like, well, at least he's getting rid of it.
Yeah. Like,
you're all naive. Like, he just wants to keep the container. He's just dumping the gas out.
Yeah, exactly. So then I see him throw the gas can into the dumpster. I'm like, that was a big waste of time. Like, took 2 minutes to dump it out of that little spout. And then he brings out his lighter, and I'm like, and before I could say anything, he threw the Zippos, like where you could light it and throw it.
Stay lit.
Yeah. So he threw that into the garbage can, and it was an explosion like no other. We were 2 feet from the car. The explosion throws him into the passenger seat because the door is still open. It deafens us. Like, I can't hear anything.
It's like someone threw a grenade in your car.
Yeah.
You just hear loud ringing.
Yeah, and so I'm looking like I'm kind of disoriented, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the hell? And I could see him pointing like, go, go. And as I'm going, these plastic bags that had been in the dumpster were raining down onto the car like little fireballs, and they were attached to my car. So it was like my car was like a driving fireball. So I whip out of the parking lot, make an illegal left, and pull over into this elementary school to dust off the fireballs. And while I'm doing this, police sirens, helicopters. I don't even know how they got a helicopter up in time. I swear there's a helicopter, police sirens, all at this Safeway. And I'm sitting there dusting the fire off, and you could see little trails of fire down the street, like where I had driven, with the plastic still burning. And so we chilled out there for a little bit, and then just finally dropped them off at home. So, back to the night where we were preparing to leave for the tournament. Remember the 2 things I told you to remember?
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen, and Josh is a minor.
Yes. So I get to Abrams. I can't remember if I play in the tournament that night because it was a Friday night. That's when we hold our tournaments for Score Z. But regardless, we were supposed to meet there at 9, and like always, he's late and doesn't show up until 9:30. So we leave the shop, and lo and behold, who is sitting there on the trunk of my car? Well, you know.
It was Mom.
Yes, it was our mother, and she went ballistic. As she was screaming, I was like, how did she find out? Like, only like 2 or 3 people knew. And I looked over to the car, like the car she drove up in, and who was sitting in the front seat?
Matt.
Yes, our little brother, Matthew. He snitched on me. He was about 16 at the time, and I guess he wanted to see some drama. I don't know why he did it. He doesn't remember why. But regardless, I told her I was going anyways. You know, I don't remember the outcome. Like, I can't remember the outcome. Like how she ended up leaving. Because we ended up getting into the car and came to the conclusion that we needed some road music.
So you're waiting all this time to go to the... And it's just for regionals in LA.
Yes.
You have your mindset on going.
Yeah. We get to our local record store, Tower Records, which is now closed, and roam around for about an hour picking out CDs. I pick up a Guns N' Roses Best Of CD, which had November Rain, Don't Cry, You Could Be Mine, all their greatest hits. Metallica's And Justice for All, a few other CDs, which I had most of at home, but I wasn't going back there to get them, no way. I did have to get another copy of Blood Sugar Sex Magic by Red Hot Chili Peppers since my other one was scratched to hell on back. He grabs a Slayer CD. I remember this particular CD well enough because I hated it.
Yeah, I hated that he loved Slayer. He always wanted to listen to Slayer.
And I mean, all their songs sound the same. Maybe my ears aren't perfect like other metalheads who love this type of screaming music, like this death metal trash, but I couldn't get into it. And as we're checking out, I started to feel depressed. Like, I'm going to be driving so far away for the very first time ever without Mother's approval. And I turned to Josh looking for an out. I said, dude, are we going to do this? He said, F yeah, we're going for it. So we left. Now, I'm not a night owl by any means. I've always gone to bed, and still do usually, at a reasonable hour, between 9 and 11. 11:30 is kind of pushing it.
On Mondays for the tournament.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I was getting tired. So what's a quick fix for this? Not cocaine. I don't do drugs. And caffeine. I guess that's considered a drug to some, but it's legal.
Like on a scale, like caffeine's definitely on the lower end, and cocaine's like a 10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. A 5 to some people.
Yeah.
Some people out have, other means like bath salts. I guess that could be like a 10 now.
Bath salts. So salty.
Yeah.
Like Jordan.
So energy drinks were pretty new at the time, and no one knew the dangers of mass consumption of said energy drinks, especially paired with something sold to truckers from convenience stores called No-Dos. I don't think those are around anymore.
I don't think so.
I haven't seen them since.
Those are a 6 on the scale.
Yeah. So, 4 No-Dos pills later, chased with a rock star, I barely noticed that I was literally going 110 down the highway to LA. There was no traffic whatsoever. There might have been, I don't know. Maybe I was on that high that made me not see things. But we got to LA around 2:30 a.m., so about 4 hours?
That's crazy.
Yeah. We parked our car at the hotel that the tournament was taking place at to find some food because we were both hungry. We didn't want to stop for food on the way here. We were just listening to music and driving. We found this Carl's Jr. after walking a few blocks, Hardee's to you guys on the East Coast, and tried to order through the drive-thru. But since we were walking, they wouldn't serve us. They said it was dangerous. There were no other cars in sight behind us, in front of us. I think they were just wanting to be dicks. So Josh flags down this car which had a MILF in it. And him being tall, slim, and quite handsome, finagled us into the car and had her drive us through Carl's Jr. We thanked our temporary hostess and ate quickly. We then walked back to the lobby of the hotel and tried to deck their eyes, like, Josh saying I should run my newly built Namekian regeneration ball deck. But I knew what I was doing, maybe channeling my inner Kool-Aid man. I told him that I thought I could go so far with my Cell Saga Goku Trunks Saga Saiyan Mastery Beatdown deck. Now, I knew at this point in time Josh was an online person, even though it was new at the time. I didn't have the internet, and had to do all of my Fnatic forum trades for DVD cards online at college. He had studied the meta the best he could and decided to play Trunks Saga Orange Mastery with the Trunks Personality Level 1 promo. The Trunks Saga Level 1 Personality promo read, your energy attacks performed against you do a maximum of 2 life cards of damage. So no matter what, if they throw an energy attack at you for 89 life cards, it's only going to do 2, no matter what, unless it says personality powers cannot be used against this attack or something like that, which there were a couple out there. My regional experience, this one anyway, was nothing to write home about. I went 2-4, losing to a 9-year-old kid in the last round to the same deck I was playing. It was sad. The highlight of the night, though, was playing against Ake and his Super Android 13 deck, which would later be released in a Babidi Saga subset for the Super 13 movie. So he had a deck with all the Super 13 Android allies and all their attacks and stuff. It was pretty cool. And I did beat him with my janky Saiyan deck and netted me a pull from his cookie bag and pulled an unreleased promo at the time, Total Defense Drill foil. I was pretty bummed because I wanted like a Champ Drill or Fatherly Advice or something like that, something cool, like an ultra rare. Come to find out, there's right now only 5 or 6 of these accounted for, which is pretty cool.
Total Defense Drill foil?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we still have it in the collection to this day. I really can't remember what else I played against or who I played against, but Josh ended up getting top 4, and I believe Richie Williams won that tournament. So it was around 10 o'clock at night. Josh wanted to stay in the game room with the Scorzy superstars like Richie, Rich Bondi, Chippy, and a few others. So I walked across the street to the hotel that I'd reserved for that night and just fell asleep. I barely remember walking into the gates, through the doors, checking in. Only thing I remember is really just falling asleep. The walk to the hotel felt like a dream, though. Everything was wavy and sounds were distorted due to lack of sleep. We'd been up for nearly 48 hours, but I did get woken up a few hours later, probably around 2 or 3 in the morning. Rich, Bondi, and Josh came back to the hotel room. I don't even know how Josh got in. Maybe he told the lady, hey, I'm supposed to be in this room too, and she gave him a key. But it was crazy. They started launching things out the window of our 14-story high hotel room. And I woke up and yelled, knock it off! But it came out, knock it off, because I was so tired. They had 2-liter bottles of soda. I don't know where they found those. They had discarded room service plates and cups from down the hall. Coffee pots. At one point in time, Josh ripped a painting off of the wall to throw out. And that's when I was like, dude. And he didn't do it. I was like, dude, they're going to charge me. So after about 15 minutes of me falling asleep and then waking up suddenly to hear a crash outside of the window, they finally stopped when a huge spotlight shined across the window, like searching for whoever was doing this for the past half hour. And I have no idea how I did not get charged for incidentals with this hotel stay, because I did have a credit card or ATM card on file. Now, remember when I told you to remember about Josh being a minor? Well, I called my mom Sunday morning from the hotel. Cell phones were new at this time, and I didn't have one at this point in time. And she said Josh's dad called her asking where Josh was. Now, flashback a few days ago at Abrams, Josh had said, oh yeah, my dad knows we're going to LA. He knows I'm going with you. He knows we'll be back Sunday. Apparently, Josh never told his dad any of this. And that's when the threat of kidnapping entered the picture. Yes, Josh's dad said he was going to file charges against me for kidnapping. That's what he told my mom anyways. I woke Josh and Rich Bondi up because they had probably just went to bed an hour later. And I said, get up, we need to leave now. So we checked out. Bondi went on his way. And after we got more than halfway home, I think we were at the 1 hour mark, maybe a little bit before Lodi. I had him call his dad and explain to him what had happened. He then said, after a few minutes, he said, my dad wants to talk to you. And his dad was very stern with me. He said, you took him without our permission, him and his wife, Josh's stepmother, Becky, I think her name was. I explained to him that Josh said that he had let me know that, he told you guys and all this stuff. I said, Josh, get back on the phone. And he said, yeah, I told him Friday that you guys knew and it's my fault. And so I got back on the phone and he's like, well, drop him off at home. I said, yeah, I will, and ended on good terms. So that was my first experience with regionals, and I'm guessing the next regional we go to will not be like this.
No, it won't. Nothing like it.
Unless we get a hotel room. So we'll be back with our tournament report from last Monday at Adventures in Comics and Games with 2 surprise show-ups. And also stay tuned for our Orange Card of the Week.
Orange Stare Down.
So, tournament report. You want to go first or you want me to?
I'll go first.
Alright.
Adventures in Comics and Games last Monday. Abrams. 9 entrants. Sam was out sick. He did not get to participate.
If he would have participated, it would have been 4 rounds with 10 people.
Yes.
You tell him that?
No, I think Jordan did though, because he's salty.
Yeah.
There was a Namekian Piccolo Namek and Piccolo deck. Black Nappa, 2 blue Ginyus, 1 blue Godku, 1 black Trunks, 1 black Krillin, 1 Saiyan Vegeta, and 1 blue Gohan. Who are these 2 surprise entrants that you want to talk about?
Matt, King of Lodi, and he's also Matt on the top tier boards. And Sean from Vacaville, who hates Matt Ribeiro.
Oh, that was hilarious. He had a definite distaste for Matt Ribeiro.
It's funny because he was playing against the Black Krillin deck round 1, and Scott, who was running Black Krillin, said, "So where are you from?" And he said, "Vacaville." And then so after they got done playing, I said, "So, Matt came down last week, Matt Ribeiro," and he's like, "I hate Matt Ribeiro and his orange Ginyu deck." It was pretty funny. He had later said that he built that Black Nappa just to beat Ginyu decks.
Yeah, so he came with Black Nappa, which got paired against me the first round. Nappa kept destroying my allies, of course, which I expected. I was hoping to draw a neck beam, since this cat definitely didn't run Anger. He was stuck at 1 Anger the whole game. He was a very tactical player. He Black Declaration, Goldo, and Jace, and then Searching Technique them, so I had them both out, then he put them back in my deck and banished them. Nappa stayed in my discard pile for a bit. He'll come up later. There was a point where he had 7 setups out, including a Villainous Visage, so every time I hit him, I felt like I was going to take Lucho damage from the Visage. But he didn't. He never used it. I kept drawing blocks while he milled my deck away, and I just stood there not being able to do anything. During the final combat, he had 9 life cards left. I entered with only 1 life card. I had out Blue Mental Drill, so I saw he didn't have much in his hand. I used Overpowering Attack to grab Nappa, so he couldn't visage me. But it didn't matter. He swung with Nappa, and he had 1 more attack that got me, so I lost to that one. Round 2 was Brandon against Blue Godku. Brandon would change his deck again. He bug captured Joey into a Blue Godku deck.
That's right.
He got an early start with Godku. I pulled Freezer out as a misplay, and he took out a bunch of my allies with Frieza being out. He made me banish him. He entered, I drew all 3 of my drills, the only 3 drills I have in my deck, and he threw hella cards at me. Trap Strikes, Sleeping Kicks, Bad Attacks, Blue Lunges, and then he hit his Stretch Kicks with his Blue Lunges. All my allies got banished, so that was 0-2 right there. Now round 3, I fought against Dylan and his Saiyan Vegeta deck. Logan had played Dylan the first round and lost, so he asked me to get revenge, so I did. I was able to use all 3 of my head knocks in different combats to keep him at level 1. He was getting a little frustrated. I had out all my allies and vanquished him swiftly. It was an easy match.
What did you end up placing?
6.
Okay. So, lucky me, first round I got paired up against Matt, King of Lodi. I knew I had to hit hard and fast, and I want to say I went first. So I drew my 3, and I had a nice hand, and I was pretty sure he'd draw like a setup and a Dragon Ball, maybe something dead in his hand. He didn't. He hit me for a few energies. He was able to keep set up with Namekian Fusion, so whenever I'd knock him down to 0, boom, Fusion, power up to full. He would Namekian Wish, get some key balls out, and my deck just dwindled as he bombarded me with energies. Brad already went over with you round 2. Round 3 was against Sean from Vacaville with his Black Nappa. He actually got a very early lead, and it seemed whenever I hit him for major damage, he'd endurance it away with Foreshadowing or Smoothest Drill. First combat, he Black Scouted away all of my confrontations. That was like a jerk move. I looked at him and said, "You jerk," and he laughed. I really thought I was going to lose, but the last combat, I had about 5 life cards left after drawing my initial 3 at the start of my turn. Wait. So the last turn, it was my go. I drew 3 cards, and I had 5 life cards left. So I drew 2 Trap Strikes, and I already had a Betrayal in my hand, a Blue Betrayal. And I also drew Krillin. He had a black Smoothest Drill. So what I wanted to do was throw Krillin down, pass, and then have him get rid of his Smoothest Drill. But I'm like, let's go for it. I entered combat. And the first thing I did was blue a trail to get rid of his villainous visage. And he had about, at this point in time, 30 life cards left. And with my betrayal, it actually knocked him down to 0. He then masteried, which I easily ditched Krillin. And then I trap striked him 8, which I was able to get a crit. So I took his ball 3. And I drew my 3 cards and saw Namek Ball 1, Blue Rest, and Blue Leaping Kick. What would you have kept?
Blue Leaping Kick.
I kept Blue Rest. He black scouted for Blue Trap Strike and didn't find any, and he had this puzzled look on his face. I then used Trap Strike for a second time, and he took more damage, but Endurance forfeited away with Black Foreshadowing, so no Endurance. Or no crit. He then threw Nappa's Energized Charge, which I then Blue Rested for at the bottom of my deck, and then dropped my other Trap Strike, and he said, "Oh, it was in your hand." I said, "Yeah, it was." So he took 8, gave him more damage. He then used Nappa on me for 4 stages and a life. I then Trap Striked again, bringing him down to 1 life card in his deck. He passed, I passed. Good game. I ended up second behind Matt from Lodi. But this guy was very clever and an excellent player.
Yeah, Sean's really good. Those boys in Vacaville do really good.
Yeah, apparently those guys in Lodi too.
Yeah.
Mr. Win-a-Box.
Yeah. Jordan did play with the Black Trunks, and Jeremy 123 from the board. From the top tier boards, he inquired about it, and I gave him Jordan's deck list, so he's playing with that, and he's going to let me know how it does. But Black Trunks does seem like it's a fun deck to play with if you could get him up. Trunks is a really good personality, as long as you get him up in his levels. Okay, now it's time for the Deck Doctor. We did receive some requests about deck building and deck strategies. We decided to pull one out from Mitch Lee 39. Mitch Lee 39 wrote, "I want to run a good Black Stasis Mill deck. What are some key cards I should think about putting in? What strategies do you have for going against the big two, Piccolo and Ginyu?" Well, if you're worried about Piccolo and Ginyu, I would advise you run Villain, so you could abuse the Frieza ally. That's only good if you use Black Ginyu, because otherwise you're going to spend forever trying to fish him out. One of Piccolo's big weaknesses is Frieza, so that's a good thing to put in there. You want to banish as many cards as you can with your Mastery and with other cards. Include Wall Breaker if you're worried about Piccolo as well. Keeping it at level 1 will make it easier for you to win. You should run Black Power-Ups, I think. Blinding Energy moves only if you get into a heavy combat that you can't escape out of. Black Declaration is good. It's a good Mastery card to use since you could put it into play as it's discarded. Going against Ginyu, you should Black Searching Technique his allies that he has it still in his deck still, and remove key cards with Black Scout Maneuver like Stare Down.
Yeah, with Ginyu, pretty much any color Ginyu is viable, so you want to make sure to read up and bone up on the cards that, if you don't get to Searching Technique early on or look through their deck, you want to kind of have a feel of what cards you think they're running, like Orange Stare Down is good, Orange Offensive Strike is good to do for Orange. For Red, if they're playing Ginyu Physical, you want to get rid of Red Heel Kick, Red Double Strike,
Red Left Bolt.
Yeah, Red Left Bolt's a good one too. I don't know about Double Strike with Ginyu. Maybe if he's on level 3 or something. But
if he's got Berter and Vegeta out.
Yeah, that's true. So you want to kind of gauge if they're running Physical or Energy with Ginyu, but they're more than likely running Energy. For Blue, you want to get rid of their Blue Lunar Beams, Lunar Ray.
Blue Lunar Rays.
Overpowering Attack's always good. It's freestyle to name with Scout Maneuver. Just try to scout out their deck and pull out all their attacks if you're running Stasis.
Yeah, Stasis is good for... I know the creators of Dragon Ball don't want people playing stall decks. That's why they've made such they've made such great lengths to make this card game aggressive. We'll see if it stays that way. Hopefully with all the different cards, people will be able to play a Stasis deck with the coming sets. I know Brandon's waiting to play Stasis, which is a very good archetype that he's good at. I'm waiting for that to come out too, just so I could see him get under people's skins. Wall Breaker's good, like I said. Black power-ups lets you end combat and power someone up. So just keep at it, separate all your cards out, look at them. That's the best way to build a deck. Just see what you have, see what you need. Throw some endurance in there when you can. I know black doesn't have a lot, but you'll get there. Well, we hope we brought you a great episode. Unfortunately, we ran out of time to discuss our Panini card of the week, which was Orange Stare Down. Maybe next week we'll have time to discuss another card. I don't know.
Yeah. So until then, keep rocking the dragon.